Okay, so this is just gonna be like a kind of a hodgepodge post on YouTube, just kind of going over the last couple of days posts. Guys, I think there's some important topics that should be brought to light that are underspoken about in the sexual marketplace. So let's get right into it. First things first, if you want to read kind of match the smash text breakdown of this girl who was out of town, who I Ubered over to my place the night before she left, and how I kind of navigated this family hospital situation, birth situation, reschedule, all that kind of stuff. You can check the link in the Substack in the description. But I guess other than that, let's get right into the post. So first kind of idea here is this one. So you want to talk. The idea is, why would you want to talk to someone or text, every day for the first day you meet them? It's kind of like too much of anything is a bad thing, but apparently not with relationships. That's kind of the idea. And this person makes a good point: too much, too soon, too fast. You're dopamine addicted to text. You're forming an intense attachment to a stranger. I'd rather get to know someone in real life, not on text, even if it takes some time. Plus, he can easily be texting you while another woman. It means nothing. This is a good point. This is from a woman, but sometimes women do give good things. Sometimes. So like I added on here, there's no such thing as getting to know someone via text. Texting is for logistics only. And like this girl says here, 100% agree. I think there are cases where there's a genuine connection. People do actually end up together, but there's quite a few people out there who are good at creating a false sense of intimacy through text. And that's basically what it is. And to kind of elaborate on this false sense of intimacy from over texting and chronic social media use, engaging with potential suitors is essentially a toxic parasocial relationship. You're not building something with a real person. You're in a relationship with your phone screen and the idea, dream, or fantasy of who they are on the other side. You're in a relationship with the concept of the situation, not the real thing, and not good for your mental well-being. Again, texting is for logistics only. And this girl says modern dating has convinced some people that disappearing for 3 days and coming back with a "hey beautiful" is a personality. Respectfully, it's not. And kind of a different angle on this one, but texting a woman "hey beautiful" is low value because it has agenda driven undertones and puts the burden of a response on her. You're not. It's fluff. It's filler fluff, and again, it means nothing. There's no tone of voice behind it. There's no eye contact. There's no kind of suggestion behind it. You're literally just kind of filling in the blanks with the market is too sophisticated. We all talk about market sophistication levels. Market is way too sophisticated for this to be a viable strategy, if you could even call it that, in 2026. So only text when you have a solid plan to propose hanging out so you can clap cheeks. Long story short, do all the thinking for her. Again, texting is for logistics only. Once you smash multiple times and she gets attached, she might start reaching out. She not just might, she's very likely to start reaching out with small talk texts and or other slop. At that point, it's up to you whether the extra maintenance is worth it or not. If she's cool enough, do you actually want to keep her around, or is she strictly friends with benefits territory? But again, that's up to you. In the beginning, texting all this stuff, it's slop. It's, dude, she wants to hang out with you. She wants to see the physical flesh and blood you, not a text. It's pixels on a screen. It literally means nothing. That's the whole idea behind this. Texting is logistics only. Texts are for figuring out when you can hang out. They call it social media, but a lot of times it's anti-social media because people are spending so much time on social media instead of actually in real life, touching real grass. Same thing with dating apps. You don't date on the app. The app is for you to in-person date, or in other words, get her to come straight over to your place. And this guy says, where does long distance fit in? And I don't believe in long distance. If I can't smash on a weekly basis, I'm not interested. That said, if you're really committing to make it work, phone calls are better than texting. Just don't burn out. Bottom line is try and live closer to each other. It's not going to work out long distance long term. And then this guy kind of pushes back on the texting for logistics only and stuff of that nature. With ever heard of pigeon lettered lad? Because he's British. Entire generations fell in love through text. Everyone jumped off a bridge, would you? Just because this is a fallacy rationale. Just because past generations fell in love through letters, which is a completely different medium, by the way. It's reading. It's like reading a physical book versus reading on your computer. You digest the physical book better than the computer. It's like, got to charge my laptop. Hear that? But yeah, as I was saying, it's it's completely different. It's like saying, "Oh, dude, read on your computer, read on your phone." No, dude, read a physical book because you can digest it better. And that's the same thing with those letters. Could you fall in love with a real letter? Probably more likely and more genuinely than a text. Bottom line here again is world and sexual marketplace have changed. Instant feedback loops and dopamine chasing or waiting for a text reply do far more harm to the human brain than a harmless letter ever could. This isn't the 1920s anymore. Again, optimistic people are really good at sales. Sales is just a transfer of emotion, your positive state passed on to them. They aren't buying the product service. People don't care about real value. They're buying how you made them feel. And this is kind of going back to the this kind of pigeon letter stuff. If men from the greatest generation of boomers were young men today, they'd be even bigger simps than the biggest beta chump you know of. Times have changed. The only constant is change itself and natural selection. Society evolves and takes on new forms. We're evolving with texting for logistics only by basically calling the bluff and saying, this is bullshit. You're not getting to know anybody. Sure, are there maybe people who do? Yes, but exceptions don't make the rule. Got to adapt to the times or fall behind the curve. World moves infinitely faster today than when carrier pigeons deliver love letters. Mating pool isn't confined to a couple mile radius anymore. Or, if they're out at war in World War II or something, you send them a love letter or whatever. It's completely different. Social media and dating apps globalize the entire sexual marketplace overnight. It's a hard concept for men to grasp. Let's give an example of clothing. You can't compare clothing of the style of the 90s or early 2000s and today. Same with communication style and how this affects women, but these guys are not moving with the times. Yeah, it's a simple adaptation. That's why this is a niche thing, because most guys just don't have the desire, I guess, or just the genetic coding to adapt. Whatever it is what it is. Kind of to layer on top of this, most people have zero understanding of attraction. Attraction is built through in-person dates, anticipation, and mystery, especially in the first 1 to 2 months. Everyone is so addicted to texting, they blow their load in the first week because they need to be texting a stranger. That's the key word, a stranger 20 times a day off the jump. It should be nothing more than maybe a couple texts a day until you're literally in a relationship, and I'll add to that, until she pursues you for a relationship. If that's what you want, then fine. If you want to do a little more, do it. Why not? And reiterating, this is why space is so essential. Butterflies don't happen because you gave her so much certainty about your interest level. The more you say, the more likely you are to say something suboptimal, unless you're a professional. But even then, do you really have a bunch of time to invest into this relationship in the beginning? Because you should be prospecting other girls, busy with your business, working out, mental clarity, things of that nature, hot and cold with your presence. Or in other words, being so genuinely busy living your life, doing things you enjoy, that you generally don't have time to simp for 24/7. 90% of guys are horrible at this. It's scientifically proven. It takes women 6 to 8 weeks to fall in love with you. Till that point, she should not know exactly how you feel. And you got MFers out here asking to be exclusive for 3 dates, or when she gives you a crumb, get in the mindset of vetting her as much as she vets you. It's a big deal to make a chick your girlfriend, so act like it. And I add on to his last point, this thing is, most guys are desperate for a girlfriend. Honestly, not even a real girlfriend. That's the thing. They don't actually want the girlfriend. They just want the female attention and affection, that the second a girl starts treating him differently than the others, or just showing him, basically like he said in the last post, a slight crumb, just a little bit of attention, then he folds immediately. If she's, hot, in the top 10 to 20% of what he can get, and she acts like that, then that's when the guy's more likely to fold. And how do I know this? It's because I used to be exactly like this years ago. And I basically cured myself by getting into multiple LTRs with what I thought in the beginning were dream girls who, when I first met, didn't even think I would smash potentially, because they were running game on me in a way. And I thought that if I could just get into a long-term relationship, I'd be happy, content, and complete. And I finally realized the juice wasn't necessarily worth the squeeze. There are hidden costs, and the hidden costs, when you say costs, aren't financial all the time. They're most of the time not. They're on your soul, they're on your energy, they're on your purpose, your future, what you have going on outside of your relationship. If it's not integrated well into your life, that's a cost. So understand, when you sign up for a girlfriend, you're basically signing up for a life sentence. There's no escaping, because what are most girls' agendas anyways? When you don't set expectations right, or just a certain kind of girl, like, yeah, you could have 99% of things right, but if her agenda is cohabitation, marriage, family charades, titles, like all these things, she starts feeling ownership of you. And that's the natural kind of what is the fundamental truth of the universe, universal law of decay. Relationships start dying the second that they start. That's the black pill about it. And I think this was just a shit post, but she says most women are attracted to money or personality over anatomy. Once drawn to someone's mind, charm, and intellect, only then does the man standing in front of her become the most handsome man in the world. Get your personality up, boys. And I mean, this is just common sense. Genetics get you in the door. With no looks, there's no initial interest to even get to display the depth of your personality. People do judge books by their covers. People buy products because of their packaging. Personality, which is really just her experience with you. It's how you treat her. It's the whole. It's your looks plus how you treat her, your voice, your way of leading, moving, your aura, energy, whatever. And I mean, this guy says best black pill post ever. It's not black pill. It's just the truth. I mean, sorry if I'm black pilling, but it's just the truth. This is the reality. So not meaning to black pill. It just is what it is. Too much of anything is a bad thing. So why do people practice cohabitation and monogamy? This is a big one. So we're not going to go into all this. Basically, this guy says he felt lucky enough that he even got a girl to go out with him once. And he's like, Jesus, dude, guys, stop having this mindset. It's an honor and privilege to have a girl when they go out with us. It's wrong, completely wrong. Male energy is highly coveted. Attention, masculinity, protection, attention, aura, and even our scent. Male energy is highly sought after by women. They need it badly. Here's kind of a layer onto that. Kill any I'm lucky to be in her presence mentality immediately. The woman in front of you is there because she's lucky to be in your presence. She's not in front of you for her health. She's there because she's exhausted all of her terrible options. That's what guys don't understand. They have no options. Why are girls on dating apps for a long time? Because the options suck. They're terrible. All the weird, needy guys, simps, guys who overtext her, boring, monotone guys, among other creative, low-value frames the rest of the market torments her with. Bottom line is she's lucky to be in your presence because when you get it, it's like a breath of fresh air for her. It's like you either get it. The market is guys who get it and guys who don't. So girls hate a guy. They have to train like a workhorse more than anything. I literally heard this straight from the horse's mouth the other day. A girl was telling me, she doesn't have time. And I've heard this repeatedly, like not about me, but about, girls complain about the dating market. God, I don't want to have to train a guy how to be a man. Not like to be a good man, like, we talk about in this space, but like just they don't want to have to get the guy up to speed. They want the guy to get it to begin with. And that's what this content is for. So they're basically craving and praying you're the guy who gets the game. And the key distinction here is not that you have game, that you understand the game. There's a difference. When you understand the game, that's when she starts running game on you and to try and get you. And there's only room for one person with an agenda. I view game in a traditional sense as like having a major agenda. Just exist, put yourself out there, of course, run volume, talk to girls, dating apps, whatever. But at the end of the day, things that are going to happen, they happen. And they happen when you don't force them to. It's like a snowball effect. And then you decide if she's worthy to keep around or toss her back to the curb with her pathetic options. That's up to you to decide once she's decided, oh, my agenda is I actually do want to entertain this guy because for false law. Women are the, gatekeepers of sex and relationships. They decide when everything starts, and you can't control that. So not everyone's built for dark triad maxing. Bottom line, he's like, oh, how are you so full of yourself? Men nowadays are gross. The fact that women will literally only date 10% of men created this. Lower your standards and Chad won't be. It's just how not everyone's built for it. So not for you. If it's not for you, it's not for you. No matter how many, kind of a good transition here, no matter how many undersexed, over-intellectualized dudes link up to tell women how they should behave, it won't change a thing. There is no strength in numbers here. Women do not care. They never needed your consensus to do what benefits them. Women are going to do what their brain and pussy tells them to do. They have agency. There's no convincing women to find appealing what they fundamentally find repulsive. So either adapt, provide value, or check out and retire. There's no point trying to change the market's preferences, desires, or values systems. They are set in stone. And we'll go into this one in a second because I did respond to that one. Here's one, though. In the meantime, this is another one, another important one. So the wife went to Miami with the girls for the week. She hasn't texted me past 10 p.m. and she is now insisting I pay for her drinks. How cooked am I? Maybe it's an engagement farming bait post, but let's assume it's legit. And even if it's not legit, these situations exist all the time. I mean, how many, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, trips do girls take and go to Miami, and all work trips. This happens all the time. So never be a woman's cheerleading orbiter, giving her non-sexual attention and validation while she's in the field. She's not texting him past 10 p.m., but what is he doing? He's texting her, and he's so, in his feels that he's basically posting about it. And the key distinction here, oh, it's my wife, it's my girlfriend, I have the free reign to do whatever I want with her. No, it doesn't matter if she's your wife, girlfriend, or whatever other social construct nickname you use. Biology does not care about your charades. It doesn't care that you went through the, like Nuke actually likes to call it, he likes to call it a princess party. He doesn't care that you had the princess party. He doesn't care that you asked her to be your girlfriend, which is bad. That's bad game. She's got to ask you to be the boyfriend. She's got to ask you for the title. Then you decide, going back to the other post, if you give that to her, you decide the level of commitment once she decides she wants it. Fascinating sexual marketplace phenomenon. There really is no rhyme or reason for why girls act the way they do. Some weeks I'll go on a run where every girl 3 to 4, or sometimes more or less, but average, comes straight over with zero resistance. Point is, you go on runs where it's just like, wow, everything's just too many girls are available. And then other times it's the complete opposite, where they push back against it or imply public, and there's no rhyme or reason, just normal market fluctuations and variance. And, a lot of guys will be like, just be Chad, bro, just run better. No, because I've banged plenty of hot girls to where this is a market thing. It's not, look, like, we can do drinks. No, thanks. But then other times a hotter girl will put up zero resistance. She's completely open to it. So it's just about the market. Most dating issues are solved with running volume. Volume, short memory, positive expected value process, and detachment from the outcome is the recipe to success. 18,000 meals you'll share with a partner over a 50-year relationship. I don't know about you, but I couldn't imagine having to share 18,000 meals with the same person. Okay, let's move on here. For options, there are a bunch of broke dudes trying to hit. And maybe by broke, he doesn't even mean financial. But even if it is financial, doesn't matter, because women don't know how money works. All they know is what they see. Bank account has nothing to do with it. And honestly, by broke dudes, I think he also means low sexual market value by broke. But either way, the point stands. Women will view you as rich if you make her pussies tingle and handle her well. You can have the most money in the world, but if you're a broke, or Freudian slip, butthurt, broke, butthurt, weak, insecure, lacking sex appeal, simp, cuck, then she'll think you're broke. So that's the key. Women view rich and broke in terms of what benefits them. And it's what benefits them. And if they're a gold digger, then obviously they want you to have finances to be able to finance their life. But if they're looking for sex, then they view broke as not being good enough for sex. So it just depends on the angle they're approaching the market with. This guy gave a pretty good compliment to me and my boy right here, The Real Game. He says, reading all of our contents with me also feels like investing in Bitcoin in 2013. I don't get why you guys still haven't conquered Twitter right now. And very simple explanation for that. First of all, don't even want to conquer Twitter. But another thing is, most people aren't innovators or early adopters. They don't think for themselves and instead follow the herd. They're risk averse. They wait for confirmation from the majority to buy in. Like Bitcoin, like any market, they want other people to take the risk. But then the problem is, most of the time it's too late, because the edges are evaporated now because the masses are bought in. But the good thing about this niche is there's just inherent mass skepticism, which limits the total addressable market in perpetuity. Most guys are weak with inherent biological simp tendencies, so this content is naturally repulsive to them. They'll never even find this side of the internet, most likely, or if they see me or see a piece of content that I put out or other guys that I collaborate with putting out, they're just going to instantly not take it seriously, which is great for all of us because it will forever be niche. So there's no conquering Twitter going on over here. This is niche, and it's niche for a reason. And then I do have some examples with, laidapp.ai, kind of going over, she says, do you think you can wait that long? And, L.A.I.D basically gave me a good response to basically say, I'll manage. Let's do Monday or Tuesday. Let me grab your number for arrangements, because she says, actually it's Friday today, so her sister will be in town this weekend. And so what am I doing? I'm not, I'm just not texting her this weekend. And we'll go into a follow-up on that in a second. This is a special one. So this girl, Diane Yap, ran a poll, and she says, poll for women. Suppose you're dating a man who happily does most or all of the chores around the house exactly how you want, when you want, while you relax. He lives to serve you and finds fulfillment in making you happy and anticipating your needs. Do you respect him? Yes, no, or show answers. So yes to no. And she says, results are in. Women overwhelmingly do respect a man who does chores and lives to serve her. Okay, so that's a big leap, and that's a fallacy. Does that mean they do? No, it says they answered yes in the poll. Those are different things. Completely different. That completely negates any point she's making by a margin of 16-1. Okay, there's 16 yeses, 16 yes clicks to 1 no click. And then she's even trying to do her little framing angle even further, but I bet many of these no votes were men. So she's trying to even say more about how it, and the problem with these self-reports is the framing of the original post, because there's an angle and agenda behind the post. It clearly implies what the right answer is. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that she's basically insinuating, oh, this is the right answer. Like she wants a yes from him, especially from the branding of who this person is. It's very clear that there's going to be naturally way more. Let's even say benefit of the doubt for this girl's angle. Yeses, they do respect him more. It's not going to be this much more because there's a bias behind it. So it's not really about whether they agree or disagree, respect him, disrespect him with the chore situation. It's about whether they want to band together and fight against a common enemy, which is basically just cult-like behavior, because she basically has a cult-like following. It's a mob mentality. We're all going to band together and we're going to lie on behalf of the female population. Women are basically very interesting in that way. No change, no change. This is an interesting one. This girl ghosted me about 2 months ago, a month and a half. And so, that's why I opened her with, offer still on the table for tomorrow around 8. And then I just say, reschedule, not to Saturday, but just to Sunday around 8. And, it just goes to show time in the market is more important, because sometimes they're not in heat. Back to the old post, earlier, or actually we might go into that in a second. But, they're basically not in heat. Their ex could have just texted them, or they lost track. They forgot that you texted them. They thought they responded in their head. Their family's in the hospital, dog died, financial. There's a million things that have nothing to do with you, which is why time in the market and not getting butthurt is so important. Love sending this to girls. Let's rain check. Speak your language. What have I heard 50 times from girls? Let's rain check. So what do I send to girls? When I'm not feeling it, or when it's in a disadvantageous situation, I say, let's rain check. Move on. This is going back to the girl earlier where she has her sister coming into town. And so she actually double texted me like 3 hours later. And it's like, oh, I thought you were going to text me and we were going to flirt. So what? Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. 4 nights, maybe 5 nights if we're doing Monday night. So if we're hanging Tuesday, I'm not going to flirt. There's no flirting over text. Stated preferences aren't revealed preferences. You do that too much, you give her the ick. Not a time waster. That's not what she's not a time waster. It's too early to know. There's not enough information to know if she's a time waster. She's potentially, like I say here, someone, she's trying to ruin a good thing. And we'll go into this one in a second. Double text 3 hours. Didn't introduce your name. Didn't even introduce, dude. Doesn't matter. We'll go into that one in a second, though. This is a funny one. This is a good one. People like to say, I have a win rate of 100%. Anyone who says this, know they're a loser, and there's no two ways about it. It's impossible to have a 100% win rate. That's like saying that you win 100% of your bets. It's like saying professional poker players never lose hands. It's like saying professional sports bettors never lose bets. That they know every single bet to make ever, that the best fantasy football players know every player to draft ever. Dude, we're all playing with the same limited information, and we all have massive L rates, which is why I love my L rate, because it takes a certain amount of L's to get to the W's, and there are no significant W's without a substantial amount of L's. It's about getting leverage. You get leverage when you take risks and get the L's, because without those L's and the leverage you approach the market with to get those L's, you never get those significant W's to begin with, which is why it's all one big war of attrition. I lose far more than I win, as does nearly anyone selling anything. And in the sexual marketplace, you're selling yourself. And it's a highly volatile market. The thing about L's is that most of the time, it's not about you. This is what I was referring to a couple minutes ago. It's not personal. She's just not actually in the market. Like the girl that she goes to me May 30th, and now it's what, July 10th. Most of the time, it's not about you. It could be about, it's about her, basically. She's window shopping, a time waster, a gentleman mercenary who realized you're not the sucker she thought you were. She's on her period, not in heat, and disqualified you permanently because of it. Bad timing, family in the hospital, dog died, financial troubles. She might be sick. Who knows? Infinite other market circumstances, insert reason for it to not work, and it's possible, which is why running volume isn't just a recommendation. It's essential for a positive expected value modern mating strategy. The globalized mating market demands it. This is a good one, though. Back to this old post, about women have agency, and there's no convincing women to find appealing what they find repulsive. This guy makes a great point. He says, you basically, one, don't tell women what to do, and don't try to change them, not only because doing either of these things isn't respectful of their autonomy, important, so they don't think you're essentially trying to manipulate them and by extension deceive them. Also, it doesn't work. Your only choices are either to stay or leave, and that's it. It's so important to internalize this. Lead by example. So don't complain about her behavior to her. Don't get butthurt or try to make guard her, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Instead of withdraw your attention and her privilege to be in your presence, think of prospect girls with better behavior. Girls with better behavior, or with bad behavior rather, can easily be replaced by girls with good behavior. And there are girls who want to work with you, so don't do it for yourself. Do it for the lonely single girls who want to treat you well. Thing is, though, in terms of like he's saying, you can either, stay or leave. The thing is, truth for most guys in LTRs are one breakup away from being an incel, so they have zero leverage. They have to put up with bad behavior. The duty sex they get depends on it, but life is too short to tolerate BS from women. So it's better to be alone, bottom line, and not lose your soul than tolerate BS and sell out to a replaceable woman. Kind of want to respond to this soon, but he's so right. Women are so repulsed by controlling dudes nowadays, and honestly, rightfully so. Trying to tell her what to wear, who she can and can't talk to. Don't talk to that guy at work. Don't do this. Only make her want to do those things more. They're like children. Imagine telling a kid they can't have a candy bar. Guess what they're going to want to do even more now that you said that. It's like the girl the other day, 18-year-old girl I spoke about at the beginning of this video in my Substack post. She's turned 18 2 months ago. And what did she say? Her parents were kind of strict and controlling. So now she literally verbalized basically like she's rebellious now against that, because it's don't be a slut. Don't do this. Don't do that. Well, the second she gets a little bit of freedom and autonomy, because now she's almost not resentful, but it's kind of like, don't touch the hot stove, or don't touch, you want to touch it. You want to see what happens. You want to push the boundary as a human, especially with naturally curious people that are open to new experiences, unlike the Hexago personality inventory. Someone's high in openness to experience, and you're like trying to close them off. You're trying to put them in a box. Dude, you're just basically violating their autonomy, and you're making them resentful. What's the point of that? And then this girl actually forgot about this one. She even is saying, even a poll with thousands of responses showing women overwhelmingly do respect a man who does chores didn't convince men. Here's a selection of cope they've already come up with, and mine was the first one here. She put a screenshot of my response that we spoke about earlier about how it's clearly implies what the right answer is, among other kind of posts right here. And it's so laughable how dumb this is, because she's saying thousands of responses showing women overwhelmingly do respect a man who does. It's not showing. I should have added this. It's not showing anything. All it's showing is who clicked which button. because is answering a poll the same as actually respecting a man touch grass? That's what we invented kink for. Don't really get that. What, it's like a service kink or something? But sure. Thousands of women say they would prefer if their husband just got up and got them the glass of water she asked for. Thousands of women say they would prefer if their husband let them help pick the restaurant. Nope. Women want men to make decisions for them. It's also just common sense. It's not moving the needle. That's the bottom line. Is it's not moving the needle. Matter of fact, let's go back to that post really quick, because I think there's a good response here. Revealed versus stated plays in heavily here as well. For example, there's a famous Teichmann study that implies you should always text after the date had a good time, because that's what people say they want. We all know that's incredibly stupid. That is very stupid. What woman is going to say the no answer to thinking they want a good, obedient simp who does all the chores? Aside from that kink thing, if there's some weird, we're going to act like the kink thing isn't relevant here. I don't really know what that's all about. But not many women, as the post shows, clearly women think they want it. But it doesn't actually move the needle at all in reality for functioning relationships. These people need to touch grass and get some real experience. And you'll even see some comments here. She's basically saying, I don't get this cope. An extremely common complaint from women: their husbands don't do enough housework, or they use weaponized incompetence to get out of it, or they ask for to-do lists and complain about nagging. I've never heard a woman say, I wish my husband didn't do all the chores. He should leave some for me. Well, that sounds like terrible to me. That's exactly why we promote not cohabitating and not entering contractual legal relationships with women and the state. Because that all sounds, if that is true, I mean, that's why we exist to begin with. And like this guy says, you don't understand, Diane. Our lives do not revolve around women. We do not effing care. You don't like it? So, Forever 27 and single, it's just over. Only applies to women. Now, this is the last main point of this video. So, we're going to go into, this is a post from a couple weeks ago. Sorry, I slept bad on my neck last night. But so basically, this girl opened me, about exactly a week ago and said, dude's got balls just for me matching with her. And the backstory is I had a weekend fling with this chick literally in like January 3rd. So basically 6 months ago or whatever, 7 months ago, whatever that is. Earlier this year, then pulled back because busy with life and other girls, and she freaked out and called me a pig. So look, January 4th and January 9th, I didn't respond to her logistics message. And she says, like, I didn't see that coming. LMAO, you're a pig. And I sent to her, this is what this post is about. LMAO, chill. I'm not ghosting you. I've had a busy week and I'm going to a city for a game tomorrow. And she's like, oh, great. So now I just sound stupid. And then basically it fizzled out. We didn't hang out again. Then she texted me a month later, acting like I gave her chlamydia. So I went and got tested and was negative. She's like, literally, you did give me chlamydia, by the way, because I didn't respond again. I was busy. I just didn't want to see her that night. Maybe even been sick. I just really can't remember. But she's saying I was lying about it and giving it. And I literally went and got tested. This was on a Sunday. I got tested on a Monday. Because I was with a different girl at the time. Actually, I was freaking out like, oh shit, I'm giving all these girls chlamydia. And went and got tested. And I literally came back negative a couple of days later. So that's kind of the backstory. And this guy says, why did I explain myself? And the only thing in this post that could be, identified as explaining myself would be this one, the I'm not ghosting you post. And so this is an important nuance here. Assuming he's referring to why I'm not ghosting her, I did it because I wanted to diffuse the situation and play the meek sucker in this specific case. There are very few situations where you should explain yourself, but this is one of them. She's lashing out with crazy bitch energy. I've already smashed, and she knows where I live, so I'd rather not make an enemy if I can help it. Explaining myself also gives her the green light to get the ick and walk away in peace. So it's a double-edged move. Feign meek weakness to balance her lashing out and my manipulations in her head, essentially. Plus, it's just not that deep for a girl who's double texting me and mad about me ghosting plans with her. Just keep the peace, basically. It's not that deep. Very few situations. He's on point. Having dealt with a few, thankfully, just a few. Same crazies before. This is just exactly right. It's just not that deep. Keep the peace. Don't have to be this macho, oh, I'm never explaining myself. Sometimes you literally need to explain to add clarity to the situation and call out bad behavior, because she was doing bad behavior by calling me a pig. So got to come over the top and dunk on her a little bit. And this guy is referring to this other post where she double texted me. He's like, anyways, you didn't introduce your name. Very simple. Why would I introduce my name over text on Thursday to a girl who already said she's busy this weekend? I penciled in plans for Monday, Tuesday, so there's no value in being her pen pal over the weekend while her sister's in town anyways. I'll hit her up Sunday for plans Monday and Tuesday. If this turns her off, then good riddance. Of course, I could text her if I really wanted to. If I wanted, I just don't have time. I have other things I have going on. I don't have time to flirt, like she said, over text. And if that's a deal breaker, then it is what it is. I won't lose any sleep over it. And the girl actually here today at 8:23 a.m. said, do you not remember me, LOL, because I sent her come over last Friday when she texted me the dude's got balls. And then I just said, how could I forget? Just kind of like messing with her. And then she says, if you clean now, I'd run it back. So she's still gaslighting me about, giving her chlamydia, even though I tested negative after she sent me that message all the way back in March 8th. Pure spite, pure spitefulness. But yeah, that's kind of the update of, what I've been kind of posting on X. Again, if you want to read this post about this 18-year-old college athlete, super hot chick who came over, didn't think I was going to smash at first, actually. She pulled out a pocket knife on my couch and was kind of leaning away at first and was like, I don't know you. And I do think she's inexperienced. Obviously, she claims I was only the second Tinder date she's been on. And I do have reason to believe that. Of course, who knows? But either way, if you want to read that kind of field report, the text conversations, just the overall vibe of the situation, you can read that here. Other than that, you read it in the link in the description. If you want to use the same AI tool that I use for texting girls and just logistics situations and kind of, coming up with those responses that I showed you down here for kind of how I'm handling that situation, and especially, stuff like this, like, I'll manage instead of, sending, like I might have a tendency to be like, oh, I'll try, or like, you might have a tendency to say something like, oh, I'll try, or it'll be hard. No, just I'll manage. Let's do this day, very logistics, kind of outsource your thinking so you don't have to think, and you can just schedule dates kind of on autopilot. The link to the AIs in the description as well. Text examples, descriptions on the WAP, private coaching calls, anything like that if you want it. Other than that, yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.